Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for Tuesday Talks webinar. My name is Susan Brown, the Associate Director of Parent and Family Programs. It is a pleasure to be hosting a webinar on today's topic, Bouvé College of Health Sciences. Today, you'll be hearing from Dr. Carmen Seppa, Professor and Associate Dean of Undergraduate Education, Maura Mannix, Associate Co-op Coordinator and Director of Cooperative Education, and Courtney Lewis, Associate Director of Academic Advising. During today's talk, you are invited to type questions into the right-hand side of the Q&A pod. Please refrain from asking questions during the presentation, and then at the very end, we will take any questions that you have. So I'm going to turn it over to Carmen now. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We really appreciate you taking time to share some insights about this college with us.
Thank you for having us, and thank you to all of you that have taken the time to join us to talk about the college. And just to give you a sense of what we will be covering, we're going to briefly talk about some of the college highlights, some of the new programs we are developing, experiential learning opportunities, the academic support and success of our students, key dates, and leaving enough room for questions and answers. Just to remind us all that the educational mission of the Bouvé College of Health Sciences is to combine experiential and cooperative education opportunities. And we do this by having not only very innovative approaches to the learning outcomes that we have in the classroom, but also exposing the students to real-world experiences through experiential learning. And ultimately, what we want is to have opportunities for students to be well prepared when they go out in the real world as professionals in the areas of health and healthcare. We also seek to prepare professionals who are going to be the ambassadors of the work that we do in the college and are going to advance the health of individuals and populations out there. The undergraduate areas of focus are for the academic programs we offer in nursing, in physical therapy, pharmacy and pharmaceutical sciences, health sciences, which is a very broad major that allows students to dive in more into their interest, whether it is pre-med, dental, veterinary, pre-PA, physician assistant, and public health. We have about 2,500 undergraduate students in the college, but as you will hear from Courtney, the academic advice and student support is very intimate and allows students to get to know their advisors very closely and communicate with them on a regular basis. The students are also very involved with faculty who are their educators, their mentors, their researchers with whom they could be doing some research, and also clinicians that are teaching them in the classroom and outside of the classroom. Some of the programs that we have, and I just went through those, is the Bachelor's of Science in Nursing, in Health Sciences, which allows also students to do an MPH, a Master's in Public Health, as a +1 option. We have a BS in Pharmaceutical Sciences and Rehabilitation Studies, and these two programs start as undergraduate, and students then progress into a PharmD for Pharmaceutical Sciences and a doctorate in Physical Therapy for Rehabilitation Studies. And in Pharmacy Studies, sorry, I just mentioned the Pharmacy PharmD, Pharmaceutical Sciences is more research-based bachelor's degree. One thing to note is that the Pharmacy Studies progressing to PharmD also has an MPH, Master's in Public Health, +1 option. So those are regular programs that you knew about when your children were coming to Bouvé. The nice thing now is that we have new combined majors that we will be able to offer to students, and those are across the university with other colleges. So we have a combined major in data science and health sciences, one in health sciences and business administration, and one in environmental engineering and public health. And this is a rich opportunity for students in Bouvé to interact with students in computer science, in engineering, and in business, and really have a curriculum where they have courses that are specific for each one of the majors that combine the two and allow for an integrative experience through a capstone or another type of course that brings the two fields together. We also have a 3+3 bachelor's in health sciences and law, and we have the minors that students are already taking advantage of in health sciences, exercise science, early intervention, communication sciences and disorders, clinical speech language pathology, and audiology. And we also have now new minors in global health, which is really a great opportunity for students to expand their interest from local and nationally approaches more globally. In nutrition, looking at lifestyle interventions and really thinking about nutrition and exercise being part of health and well-being. And two new minors include the health systems operations minor that we are doing with the College of Engineering, with electrical engineering, and health, humanities, and society with the College of Social Sciences and Humanities. So a lot of options for students to choose from and really start exploring their interest and their passion within the field of health. Experiential learning is a key component of the education your children get here at Northeastern University, and that really spans in all aspects research and co-op and global experiences, which Maura will talk about. I just want to remind you all that by experiential learning, what we mean is the opportunity for students to take what they learn in the classroom and apply it into the real world experiences that they go into, and then bring that back to the classroom and start incrementally building foundational knowledge and competencies and skills. Students have the opportunity to think critically, solve problems, be asking questions that are really important, and trying to answer some of those that will indeed have an important and an impact to society. Through the process, students have mentors, they network, and they have opportunities to think about what it is the profession that they would like to ultimately be dedicated towards. An example of experiential learning is through the research opportunities we offer, which, as you can see in this constellation of 6 domains, they really relate to all aspects of basic research. If you start a little to the lower right-hand side with drug discovery and pharmaceuticals, biomedical, biotechnology, etc., looking at technology, at systems, science and health, health equity and policy, all the physical, psychological, and cognitive aspects of health and well-being, and the environment. So these are all areas in which our faculty are doing research, and students have the opportunity to get involved throughout their program of studies.
Hi everyone, this is Maura, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about cooperative education. So you see here our co-op learning model, and the goal here is really to integrate what students do out in the field on co-op with their learning here. So this is a cyclical process where we prepare students for their co-op. They go out on either a 6 or 4-month co-op experience. And then while they're out, they do some reflection on what they're doing, and then when they return, they work with us to continue that process and also integrate what they've learned and seen on co-op into their coursework. And then depending on their program, they might go through this cycle again for a co-op experience or a clinical experience. And what we hope is that they really develop lifelong learning skills through this process. So in terms of preparation, students are enrolled in the Introductory to Co-op course, and in that course we sort of teach them about job search strategies. So we work on resumes and interviewing. We bring a lot of employers into this class, so students get to hear from folks who are working in the field and who hire students. And they also work on setting goals for their co-op and for their career, and also identifying learning outcomes for their co-ops. And another big piece of their preparation for co-op is their co-op faculty member. So these are faculty members who work in each of the majors, and they provide one-on-one advising and career guidance to students. They also provide support while the students are on their co-op and when they come back to campus as well. And I think what's nice about the co-op faculty is that because we work with students over a number of years. If they're doing more than one co-op here, we really get to know them and see kind of their professional journey throughout their time at Northeastern. So we really get to develop some nice long-standing relationships with students. So some of our programs do require a co-op, and others they're an option. And students have the opportunity to develop their own co-op nationally or abroad. So some students sometimes like to find a position close to home, or they use this opportunity to explore a new part of the country or even the world. And this is really a major recruitment strategy for employers. A lot of our employers say that they consider the co-ops to be 6-month job interviews, and if a student performs well on co-op, they're a potential employee down the line after they graduate. And it's also a great networking opportunity for students. They are exposed to professionals in their field of study, as well as a lot of different professions, depending on what the setting they choose to do a co-op is. And oftentimes our students work at their co-op site after the co-op has ended, either per diem or, like I mentioned before, in a full-time position after they graduate. So this is a really great way to work on career development skills, and students graduate having a good amount of experience under their belts. So these are some of the types of positions that our students work in. You can see they're labeled for each program. So our nursing students are generally in personal care assistant programs, in hospital settings, inpatient settings, or an emergency department. Pharmacy students are pharmacy interns, and they complete co-ops in a community setting, in a hospital setting, and then in a setting of their choice. Physical therapy students are usually in a rehab aid role. And then health science students have many options for types of positions they can be in. They can be a medical assistant, clinical research assistant, patient population data manager, a dental assistant. We have students who sometimes work in specialties like dermatology or ophthalmology, so there are a lot of options for that program. And generally, a lot of our partnerships and employers are in the Massachusetts and greater Boston area, but we do have established relationships in New York, Atlanta, Hawaii, and California, to name a few options, and also globally in Ireland, Uganda, Costa Rica, and Korea. So in addition to doing a co-op abroad, there are other types of experiential global opportunities. One of them we call Dialogues of Civilizations, and those are 6-week faculty-led courses in other parts of the world. Those take place in the summer. So you see a few examples of Bouvé dialogue opportunities. Students also have options to do a dialogue through another college if there's another interest area they have. We've talked a little bit about international co-op. Students also have opportunities to do a study abroad program or participate in an alternative spring break where they might be doing service work abroad through our Center for Community Service. And this is just an example of some of our co-op employer partners. You see we have a number of different hospital settings. We also have some nonprofits, some research opportunities, private practices. So these tend to be clinics, they're inpatient settings. Some of them are public health departments. So there are a lot of places to go and a lot of opportunities for students through the co-op program.
Hi everyone, this is Courtney Lewis, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about the academic support and Office of Student Services within Bouvé. Within Bouvé, we have a unique model of advising where students are assigned an advisor right when they begin at orientation and when we meet with them before they start at Northeastern, all the way through when they would be graduating. And some of the experiences that they have as first-year students are they have the opportunity to potentially live in a Bouvé living learning community. And this is in the residence halls that is specific to Bouvé. And they can also live with other students in their major in this living learning community, as well as Bouvé sponsors LLC dinners, where a faculty member will come and speak to students on different topics. So it's a good way for students to engage in the community and learn a little bit more about their major, as well as live with students within their major as well. They also are in first-year seminars, which is a one-credit course at the beginning of the semester. And in that course, they will, again, learn more about their major, have opportunities to get to know other students in their major, and also hear from the Marjorie Bouvé Fellows, which are mentors, upper-year mentors, that work with the students, as well as other faculty within the health profession. We also provide academic coaching for these students within their first year, and we do that through first-year meetings as well as group meetings. In their upper year, students also have the opportunity to become Bouvé Fellows, which are the upper year mentors that I mentioned, and they also can become involved in different clubs and organizations that are specific to Bouvé or at the greater Northeastern clubs at large. And then they also can work very closely with their advisors to find different opportunities in terms of ways to get involved. We have a Bouvé Ambassadors program where they work very closely with students that are coming into our welcome days and meeting with new students, as well as work very closely with the faculty and learn more about their capstone experiences and different career opportunities that will lead them to where they will go after graduation. Within the student support role, we have different individualized and comprehensive academic advising, academic coaching, and tutoring services available to students. Again, as I mentioned earlier, we do this through different group and individual meetings, whether that be from right when they start in their first year all the way through graduation. And to clear them for graduation, they're constantly coming in our office, and we're able to provide them with what classes they'll be going to and where they will be going in their next semesters. Some of the programs, health science in particular, has a very flexible curriculum, and the other programs have the opportunities to be involved, as well as health science have the opportunities for students to be involved with different co-ops, clinicals, and their classes as well. So students have a specific curriculum for the other majors, but it leads them to many different opportunities within them. They also have leadership and professional development opportunities, whether that be working with advisors to find those different leadership and professional development opportunities or faculty. And over 98% of our students are employed, or they go on to fellowships or enter graduate school upon graduation. And some upcoming key dates is April 9th is our first day of fall registration for continuing students. We've been starting to send emails to your students in regards to this date, and we will continue to send them emails up until when registration begins. April 16th is Patriots Day, where there are no classes. April 18th is the last day of spring classes. April 19th is a reading day, generally a studying day for students as they prepare for final exams. April 20th is the first day of final exams. And then for our seniors, April 30th is the first day of senior week, and May 4th is our commencement. And all of the academic calendars for this current year as well as the following years are found on the registrar's website, which is located on this slide.
Well, thank you. That was really informative. So at this time, we would like to take some questions from the audience. So if you have a question, you can type it into the screen and we will answer it. Are these slides available after the webinar? These slides will be available. All these Tuesday Talks we do are recorded and put on our website. So we will let you know when they are available and you will be able to have the slides. We have a parent asking, what does the 3+3 program mean?
Yeah, so the 3+3 program is indeed 6 years, so that will be the first 3 years students are coming into the health sciences major, the bachelor's degree, and upon entrance into the health sciences major, they indicate their interest in also doing the 3 years of law following the health sciences curriculum, and students have to still be admitted into the law school for the 3-year continuing on the JD path. And what that will do is allow students in 6 years to get a BS in health sciences and a JD. I would suggest that you and your children look at the website for the 3+3 programs. We have a series of these programs, particularly in the social sciences and with law and other fields, but it is a relatively new field for us. But what we have heard, particularly in health sciences, one thing that I should have mentioned is that we have many interdisciplinary faculty. That means faculty that look at or study health and healthcare issues from different lenses, whether it's law, business, computer science, etc. And with our jointly appointed faculty in law, we have seen that there is really a large interest in understanding health and healthcare in relationship to law.
Thank you. Can you just go back to this previous slide? I think some people are asking for your contact information, and then we'll put mine up afterwards. Yeah. Or a couple questions on co-op. Yeah. If a student was looking for a co-op position in the spring, when would you recommend they go interview for jobs?
So the process happens the semester before the student is set to go out. So if your student is going in January, that fall, they would be either, most likely they would probably be in the Intro to Co-op course that semester and be meeting with their co-op faculty member as well. So typically they would probably be applying to positions in October, beginning to interview for positions late October and November into December for a spring co-op.
You had mentioned that certain locations are available for pharmacy students where they work. Is there any that are kind of known for physical therapists, any companies?
A lot of the main hospitals here hire PT students, so Spalding is a big employer of ours, their main hospital in Charlestown, and they have a number of satellite locations as well. We also work with Beth Israel, the Brigham, Mass General. Those are some of the inpatient hospital settings. They also have some outpatient opportunities, as well as many smaller clinics. So those might be affiliated with the hospital, they might be a private practice, or we do also have a couple of pediatric settings, which are hospital, clinic, and also school-based.
Here's a really good question. I think you had talked about the 98% employment figure, I think, that most students are employed. We have a parent saying, my daughter is from Western New York. She is now on her second co-op. She loves it and is very pleased with her education so far. How reasonable is it that she may be able to get a placement for her clinical in her hometown?
I know for clinical education, it's a little bit more of a placement process where students do have input and can indicate a preference. And it probably depends on what's going on in terms of staffing near you at certain locations, if they have the bandwidth to take on a student. So I think it's something where a student can certainly express interest, and then they would work with their clinical faculty on that further.
Okay.
If I may just add to that, and Courtney, maybe if you can add some more, is that students are asking about these questions very early on in the process and work closely with the academic advisors so that these opportunities or interests can be identified early on and built into the program of studies.
I have a daughter who is in the School of Nursing and is interested in becoming a nurse practitioner. What would be required to achieve this degree?
So that would be going on to a second degree for that. So the student will receive their Bachelor's of Science in Nursing, and then they could apply to master's programs, which we also have at Northeastern, depending on which one she is interested in, that will go on to receive her NP.
You talked about majors combining, that's some of the new majors, right? Is there an opportunity for combination of psychology and health sciences degree?
So the combined majors is something that the university is really interested in offering because it speaks to the flexible curriculum in different ways. What we see with our students in Bouvé is that because they are taking several of the foundational science courses with the College of Science, they actually can minor in psychology, for example, very easily. And in addition to the combined majors that we show, there are opportunities for students to declare a new combined major that doesn't exist. And it is up to the faculty in collaboration with the Office of Student Support Services and academic advisors to make sure that the combined major is developed. So in other words, if in this case, if the student would like to have a combined major with psychology and with the major in Bouvé, again, just voice that preference to the academic advisor, and then everything will start, the process will start to craft that combined major if it doesn't exist.
Right, and to Carmen's point of the minors, it's very common for especially health science students to have a minor in psychology, nursing students actually as well, because it fits in very nicely into their schedule. For the PT program, the students need to have a minor or minor equivalency before the time that they go into their professional years. So again, that's another popular minor for students to include, but there's many different minors that students will add to their program of study as well.
Question on occupational therapy. Are there any thoughts of adding a master's program?
So it's interesting that you mentioned this because in area of physical therapy, rehabilitation, overall prevention, as we talk about public health, and occupational therapy, workplace wellness are all very important areas currently that college is exploring about. But we don't have anything firmed up yet, but there is conversation about that. One thing I should have mentioned is that the dean of the college, Susan Parrish, she actually joined the college as dean a year ago. And it's been a great opportunity to be thinking about which areas of excellence the college is thinking about based on how well established the college is and the demand for the different majors and what are the job opportunities out there. So yes, this is all work in progress, but we don't have a master's just yet.
Okay, good to know. So we have a couple people asking kind of the same questions. I don't know if you have the answer to this one. Do you know the percentage of students that were accepted into Bouvé's pre-med program that go on to medical school?
So the health science major is typically a major where students can go towards pre-med or pre-PA or any of those pre-health programs. They're not admitted to pre-med as that's not a major, but students are admitted to the health science program and can opt to follow pre-med prerequisites, and they can do so within that major. And then we don't have any statistical data that shows where they were accepted or how many are accepted. However, we do have a pre-health advising office on campus where students can go, and that's where they really will set up their committee letters and what they need for the prereqs, how that will fit into their curriculum plan. The Office of Student Services will work with them to work on that as well, but things that are beyond that of where they're applying and when they need to get their applications in, they would work with the pre-health advising office for those particular students that are interested in that.
I just wanted to expand on what Courtney mentioned, that because we do know that our students are very successful within the first year, to 98 of them really get to their desire, whether graduate school, work, employment, etc. We do know that students are successful in reaching that next step, and overall most of our students do reach that next step within the first year. So we're confident about the ability of students to achieve that goal. Whether it's, their desired medical school, we don't know, because there is the matching system that is used that we have no control over.
Okay. In regards to, like, someone's asking about their freshman students, do you suggest them taking classes in the summer to lighten their load in the future years? What are your thoughts on that?
It's very common for students to do that first summer, either the summer 1 or summer 2 semester. It's very common for students to do that if they're interested in any electives that are offered or if there's a dialogue that they're particularly interested in. It's a good way to take classes and still be engaged, and they still have a good chunk of the summer that's left. So they can still go home and have that summer semester if they want to. Again, it's not required for any of the first-year students, but it is a good opportunity. And in the later years, if they decide to do a 4-year 1 co-op program, for instance, in the health science major, they will have summer classes, so it might be a way for them to do that in advance, ahead of schedule.
Okay. What kind of academic and cool opportunities are there available for students who are health science majors with an exercise science minor? I don't know if there are any clubs or organizations that the student can take part in.
If they're interested in Bouvé-specific clubs, there's the PA program has a club, there's a pre-med club, there's many that are less specific to those certain areas, so it depends on really what their interests are within that. I know you can even create your own club, so if there is one that doesn't exist, if there's one that's specific to nutrition that you're really interested in, you can kind of create that as well too, which gives students the opportunity to maybe find other students that are out there that have similar interests to them as well too.
And if I may just expand on the exercise science interest for a minor, was mentioned, what we try to do in addition to clubs and also through capstones and other experiential learning opportunities, students have developed exercise programs for the dorms and in the Marino Center recreation facilities. But we also have a wellness program that we started this year, New Well we call it, for Northeastern University Engaged Lifestyle of Wellness and Wellness Engaged Lifestyle. And so we have students participating in that. They volunteer in it, but they are immersed with the staff in looking about exercise prescription and coaching for physical activity, fitness, and wellness for many of the students. So we started that this year as a pilot with only 50 students enrolled in the program and about a handful of students participating as the coaches and the staff. But that's an opportunity. And then we also have community-based exercise programs, a family gym, we call it, which happens on Saturdays, and students can also volunteer there. There are some paid and some unpaid volunteer opportunities where students can get involved. And the way to do that is really by talking with the academic advisors and with the faculty that are teaching their courses in exercise science for the minor.
We were talking a moment ago about the students taking some classes during the summertime. Was it possible for them to take them at another university? Is that something they should talk about with their academic advisor? Can they transfer from another university or anything like that? You know?
Yep, so that they would work with their academic advisor for. There are, of course, circumstances where they would need to take a class over the summer. So that would really be working with individually with their academic advisor to determine if that would be eligible for them to do or not.
But it is possible to do.
Yes, yeah.
Do all students seeking a co-op for health sciences ultimately find a position during the semester they're looking for?
Yes. So we work with students for as long as it takes to find a position. So I think, you know, in my time here, I've been here about 3.5 years. I think every student who has wanted to go on co-op has secured a co-op position. For some students, that might happen the first time they go on an interview. For some students, it might take a little bit longer because of issues with fit or building on interviewing skills. But our goal is really to work with every student until they have a co-op.
That's great. My daughter is a first-year student in nursing, a parent is asking, and her goal is to become a nurse practitioner. How long, if she did 3 co-ops, would it take for her to finish school?
So that 5-year 3 co-op plan is for nursing, so it would be 5 years.
5 years.
And if she chose to do a 4-year program, it would be 2 co-ops for nursing.
My daughter applied for 4 co-ops for July 1st. She was offered 1 position before completing her interviews. Does she need to complete her interviews before accepting an offer?
She does. I work with the PT student, so I'm pretty sure that's probably a PT student in that boat. Yes, we do ask students to complete all of their interviews before accepting a position. One, because we've had students who get an offer, they believe that's their first choice, and then they go on another interview and they fall in love with another location. So we like them to really keep their options open until they've seen all of the opportunities available to them, but also because the interviews are a part of their learning and a part of their professional development. So we do encourage them to follow through with the process before making any decisions. And that's something that the employers are aware of as well, that we have this rule. So everybody should be on the same page about that.
Good. So we have time for 1 or 2 more questions. And by the way, if you would like to ask a question that we didn't address or you want further information, please feel free to email us at parents@nau.edu, and we'll be sure to direct the questions to the Bouvé staff.
And here is the information about staying connected, so we're just changing it so that you can see the email there.
All right. I don't see any questions. Well, I do want to thank you all for coming. My own daughter graduated from Bouvé. I like to add that in. And I think that they did an outstanding job, and her co-op experiences were outstanding. She went to another country, and she's done quite well. So I thank the Bouvé College for that. Tonight we will be doing a webinar at 7 p.m. for preparing for commencement, mostly geared to seniors. But if you want to learn about commencement and the process and what happens during that time, we look forward to you joining us tonight. At this time, our webinar is going to be ended. We ask that if you stay with us for a moment to provide feedback on today's session. We are always looking to hear from you about future topics and how this session went. So if you would provide us any feedback, we would appreciate that. And again, thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day.